Hello, and once again, we are live with the Modern Mystery School UK and EU podcast and YouTube channel. And today we have a very special guest. Welcome back, Martina. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Davina Kate, for inviting me back.
Well, I am very excited because we've been talking about joy. And, I've been out listening to people, what they think joy is, or they kind of seem quite that it's not needed in our lives, and all of these different misconceptions. So I'd really like to put the question to you: what is joy, and why do we need it in our life?
Well, it's funny you say that, because I came to the mystery school and I was, on the path. I did Empower Thyself. I went to Healers Academy, and I was on the Ritual Master path, and Founder Goodney was teaching. And he was throwing this term joy, and about joy and life and joy. And at the end of the 2 days that he was training us on, he said, "Is there any other questions?" And I was the person that put my hand up in the class and said, Can you tell me what joy is?" And I genuinely did not understand what this concept was, because nobody, nowhere in my life when I grew up, yes, we had a very happy home, but nobody ever defined joy. Nobody ever mentioned to me or taught me the value of having joy every day in your life, of one's needs in life to have joy, and the concept of joy. And I suppose I had gone to the US, as you know, I had moved there, and I was on this desperate mission within myself to find, but it was really the joy of life, the joyful life, the life that was to be lived in joy and of joy and to share joy. I missed that. It's like I missed that whole section. And if I had not found the mystery school, if I had not embarked on the journey of being an initiate and progressing myself on the initiatory path, I would have missed that. I would be, that sad individual at the end of life wondering, okay, well, I have a house, I have no mortgage, I have a collection of cars, I've had a great career, but I've never experienced the inner sense of joy. So I'm very passionate to share the why, because unless you live joyfully, you're not really living. You're in survival. You're checking off the boxes, which I did, but I didn't have any sensation, any feeling that I was in joy or joyful or enjoying life. And that creates the sadness. And then the sadness wants you to feel happy, because the opposite of sadness is to feel happy. And then that made me buy things I didn't want, and then overeat at one part in my life, because I was trying to suppress. I thought, well, if I do this, I'll feel better. But it's not long term. It's only for the moment.
That's what I was going to ask about happiness, because I think, I wonder if people get confused with this happiness and joy.
I think all the time. I think if we were to go out and survey people, they would tell us that they're the same, and they're not the same. They're not the same, because happiness is, I have happiness every morning because I love breakfast food, and sometimes I delay having my breakfast until lunchtime, because it's like, oh no, I want to feel good, but that's just for that 20, 30, 40 minutes, and then it's over. That's not joy. That made me happy. I ate delicious food. I look forward to walking in the park. I look forward to walking on the beach. That makes me happy, but it's for that hour. It's not joy. Joy is within. Joy does not have attachments outside of you. It's a state that you create for yourself. Nobody can give you joy. Nobody can give you joy. You create this, and that's why the path of progression is so important. And we have, Sovereign Obsessionist Dave has an amazing, it's an intense 1-day class, but it has the ability for you to unlock, to become extremely aware, to become enlightened to the foundations of joy. And I highly recommend this. I recommend this because as an initiate walking on the path, we're doing it to live the good life, to enjoy the mystery of life itself, and to enjoy every step of it. But then we have to understand the concept of joy and how to unravel that within us and open up the full understanding of it, so that everything we do, our life is joyful. And there's no part of life that we don't want to embrace and enjoy. The Egyptians talked a lot about this.
Do you think, so who would you think who should come to this class? I mean, do you think it's just for people on a spiritual progression, or is it do you have to be high level kind of into self-help, or what are your feelings on that?
No, this is foundational. This is foundational, because if you don't have solid foundation, then you can be reaching, you can achieve the high aspects, but you won't anchor them consistently in the physical. And that's the essence of having a strong foundation. And we're in this very interesting time. And I'm sure that you and many of the people watching are observing that, we're in the time of the year here in this part of the world where the sun is at its highest, it's at its brightest. We notice that because, my goodness, 3:30, 3:45, it's starting to get bright now. And I love that. And it's bright, late into the evening. So the light is at its highest. But we're also in a time where we're in the building of Shambhala. And we've anchored the basics to build, but now we're building it. And on the initiatory path in our lineage, we are actively bringing awareness to people to build their lives with the light of Shambhala. And that's getting very strong, very bright, very amplified. How do we know this? Well, we test it. We test it in our own lives, and things just won't stay that are not of us. We can't keep which isn't what we truly are. Because in Shambhala, as prophecy shares, that we're going to live in a world of peace. We're going to live in a world where we honor ourselves and unify from within. We have peace, joy, and love. And we all have that. I sustain it for myself. You sustain it for yourself. All 7 point whatever, getting up to 8 billion people do. And the world is of light. It is of the abundance of peace, of joy, of love. And it's really important that we understand those frequencies so that we can purify, we can align with them in ourselves. And that's one of the things that when I attended Sovereign Ipsissimus's Hermetic Joy class, it was like, oh, I've got to get my alignment 100% correct here. And I was able to identify, oh, I'm doing this, but I have an attachment to it. So I've got to look at that now, because it's not true. It's not truly joy for me. I'm still pushing. And there's no reason for me to push. I can be in the flow, in the joy, in the alignment. I can be in enjoyment. I can go. And we have to do that for ourselves. And for that reason, everybody is eligible to attend who has done Empower Thyself. And everybody who wants to live in the world of Shambhala kind of needs to attend, because it's going to speed up the journey to get there. And there's no reason to be in the slow lane when you can come to a class that will help you to achieve it much faster. It's like, pressing the gas, and you got it, you're there. And then you can go back to that and reuse it over and over, and in different areas of your life. You can use it personally. You can use it in relationships. You can use it in your business. You can use it in all areas of your life. So it's very effective.
Would you say that, because I know you said it was an intensive one day, what would you say to people that have already done the class? Would you, because I know that you've done it a few times. Like
I've done it 3 times. I've done it 3 times now. And I'm not shy to resit, because you can go deeper in each time. And when our minds have to get cleansed, I'll speak for myself. I have to hear it a few times, and I don't feel that I'm alone in that. And I'll tell you, the first time that I sat in the class, I went to do my tradition, which is to make notes so that I can, go back and clarify I can answer the questions when they start to bubble again. I had to close my computer. I was like, okay, I'm just going to sit here and let the light and the energy of it flow to me, because I need a little healing around this. And I didn't, when I signed up for the class, if you had asked me, I'd have said, oh, I'm feeling good, but I'd like to sit and get, I recognized that, because there was areas of my life where I yet hadn't visited what was the essence of joy there. And I was pushing, I was carrying. And that's not going to keep you healthy. And it's not going to keep when we're doing things in our lives that we have to be pushing and we have to be battling with it inside of, we have to get ourselves to do it. And there's no joy in doing it, then we're leaking energy and we're leaking life force energy. And that's what I see a lot of my clients when they come. They're saying, can you help me with this? But what they're actually saying is, can you stop me from leaking in this area of my life? And then when I give them a life activation, I teach them the tools of empower thyself. They're like, oh, my life's so much better. So then an obvious next step is to get to the core of why you're on the journey. You're on the journey so that you can live a joyful life and you can share your joy with others, and you can leave the frequency of peace, love, and joy. When you leave the world, you can leave that light flowing. And all of us want to do that.
Well, I can't think of a better way to end that. But I know it's a very short interview, but I mean, I think that just summed it all up. I mean, it's for life and it's to leave the world in a better place.
Yes, because, that's, in companies that do exit interviews, I'd love if we could do exit interviews in life, because I think that, then I know I've experienced this in some companies I worked for that do exit interviews, and then they would give you what the summary of it was, and it always helped. It was like, yeah, that person, that was a very good message to leave. That was a very good analogy, and I always had a positive from it. And I think, I think that would be really interesting. And I think that if we read some of those of our family, of our friends, of our colleagues, of our loved ones, they'd probably be all reminding us of this concept to enjoy life, to live life. I don't think they would be saying stress out more. And I don't think they would be saying make it more complicated. But I could be wrong. I'm open to be challenged on that.
Oh, I know. It's such a wonderful class. I mean, please go. Please give yourself.
Absolutely. I'm going to be there. I'll be sitting, reassessing myself, taking the opportunity and hearing it again. Because when we do that, then our life gets better. My life gets more purified and more aligned. And then more goodness and more joy comes. Because if I'm holding the frequency of joy, which I'm responsible to do for myself, then I attract more of that. And I will say that each time I have sat with Sovereign Absismus Dave in the Hermetic Joy class, that has absolutely happened. And it continues, that ripple continues. And I've become more joyful. And it just keeps getting better and better.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. And I think, in this, in the times that we are right now, that I don't think you can have too much joy. You just got to bring as much as you can, and getting those keys, working on it, reminding yourself, it's as essential as going to the gym. It's like
100%, 100%.
Yeah. So, I mean, we're so lucky now that we have this in a 1-day intensive class where all these keys are going to be handed down, because
if we were to compare that day to our fellow initiates who lived, let's say, 75 to 100 years ago, what you get in 1 day with Sovereign Absismus Dave, they hoped to achieve on the path that they would have committed 30 to 40 years. And you get it in one day. So that's like a wow right there.
Exactly. You get so much, and it's so essential for, you know, these times, for our health and well-being, for our progression, for,
Yes, and for
you
our progression.
know,
So yeah.
you know, so, you know, please
Yeah.
consider this, you know, please consider this. And it's open to adepts. And again, I don't know how long that's going to be.
Well, that's the miracle that it is open to adepts, because I think that, you know, personally, if I had gone to Empower Thyself and had the ability, you know, this class has only existed for a short period. And, you know, now it's on the road, it's here in London as well as in Toronto, which is an amazing opportunity. And if I had been able to sit in that, it would definitely have changed the steps I took and the actions I took, because it would have progressed me much faster, and it would have brought me to a state of joy much, much quicker.
Yeah, 100%. So I'm very excited that this is going to be happening in September. And remember, programs are happening in September this year in London.
Correct. Yes.
So come and join us. There's going to be lots of fun. You'll see us all there. And yeah, thank you, Martina, for that amazing
You're
insight.
so welcome. And you know, it's going to be a wonderful program, because it's when we're you know, we reset our year here, which is absolutely amazing, and it's a beautiful time.
Yeah, it's going to be so much fun. Thank you, Martina. And I know we'll be seeing you again on the show.
Thank
Getting
you.
some more
Thank you so
wisdom. And thank you everybody for tuning in. And if you're on replay, you know, and it's before September 2024, you can still sign up. So take care for now.